Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo buddhaya, namo dhammaya, namo sanghaya. We pay homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened Buddha. Good morning and afternoon to everyone across the world, east side, west side, north side, south side. Present behind me is Julius, if everyone had forgotten about Project Julius. Was my very first project, first student, ever since I started doing counseling sessions 6 years ago. And right to my left and your right on the screen is Novice Lee, who I ordained a couple days ago. So you all can open your eyes and say hello to the people. I just wanted you all behind me so that they can see your faces. And you all can return back to your seat. So so today we just got back from the monastery. I was going to hold the Sunday session at the monastery, and there was service there over there. I don't know their schedule. There's so many monasteries, so many things going on. But the abbot says, "Yeah, we're about to hold service here," and I said, "Okay, all right, let's go." And off we went. And the abbot stopped us again, and the abbot says, "Oh yeah, by the way, we have fence work to do. Can you and 4 of your other students help us?" So in front of me are 4 of my students, including Novice Lee. And so we went over there and stretched the metal fence, having to unwire it, having to install it, and zip ties and all sorts of weird stuff to try to hold this thing up, in hope that hurricane season around the corner will knock it right back down. Welcome to Florida. Oh, they don't know how good they got it until they're with me and realize that, wow, the Venerable Qidao steers away from anything that could obstruct your spiritual growth and development. The Venerable leads you towards the right path, the path that gets you from point A to point B as directly as possible. As directly as possible. So now we're here hours later and having a lot of fun. We enjoyed the good weather and good karma as we dedicated our mind, our body, and our speech to help other people who will benefit greatly out of our work in a couple hours. However, my teacher, who is in his 50s, having to build every single meditation hut that you all have been in and seen and sat through at the other monastery. That's tiring at 50 something years old. Hammer, nails. Not one, but like 14 meditation huts, able to house 2 to 3 people in this hut. It's tiring. It's suffering. Suffering is good. Suffering is a good thing. Welcome it in your life, especially in your young lives, where you need a mixture of suffering, sorrow, sadness, joy, laughter, jubilance to balance it out. But those who have suffered greatly, it brings humbleness to your heart. Makes you humble, tames the ego, quickly tames the ego. It brings great joy today to see Julius again, rolling up in a brand new Beamer. What kind was it? What kind of Beamer was it?
M340i.
M340, bruh. M340. It's a good sign of growth, financial freedom, financial stability. I took a chance on each and every single one of you underneath my wing. So 2 students here are new and 1 is not. And 1 is getting, well, past couple of months. And today I'd like to talk about each and every single one of you and how proud I am, how happy I am, and the amount of happiness that brings to me. So, as all of you are new to me, Julius, yeah, I took a chance on Julius, took a chance on each and every single human being that comes into my life. What does that mean? That means that, we're going to sneeze. It means that I don't know the time that I spend with you, the amount of medicine I will inject into your head, meditation, traveling, gas, time, energy, money dumped into one human being at that time in hope that you will be better, in hope that you will become a productive member of society, in hope that you will not be the next mass shooter, in hope that you will not shoot up the next Publix. Um, and so don't cancel me out, TikTok. God, TikTok, every time I gives examples, they always block me out for violence speech. See, now it's all putting all the algorithm together and they're like, suspension. In hope that you all would become a better son, a better daughter, a better brother, a better sister, a better you was my hope. Delaying my own enlightenment, delaying my own spiritual growth and development. I took a chance on each and every single one of you because someone in your family reached out to me and I took you underneath my wing. And according to scientific measurements, I have reason to believe that you are bright, intelligent, conscious, alive, alert, and that you would channel your intelligence for the right reason, with the right people and the right resources to maximize your capacity for the enjoyment of life, to maximize your capacity to learn and study Buddhism, and to obtain the knowledge and wisdom necessary to give it all back towards the end, giving it back to your generation, giving it back to our community, inspiring other young people not to become the next menace in society. Hmm. And as I enter semi retirement stage, which is quite unheard of for a 35-year-old monk, and as the whole world is watching and listening very carefully, I emerged as a young monk who did so much above and beyond the calling of any monk. So the next future monks to come, hopefully novicely and many more down the road, the challenge is to supersede me in my short years. You are to come back and say, "Dear Master, we beat you." That's what I want to hear. We beat you in your studies, we beat you in your performance, we beat you in your wisdom, we beat you above all else. That's what I like to hear joyfully in my wheelchair. In the scriptures of the teachings of the Buddha, there have been students who became arahants ahead of their teachers. And their teacher have told them that they were an arahant. In fact, was not. Because the teacher was not an arahant, but the student was. And the student tested the teacher to see, in fact, if he was. And he wasn't, and realized that he wasn't. And the teacher was, in fact, the student was, in fact, a full enlightened being. And that is what I hope you all do. Even if I don't achieve arahanthood myself, sitting back with a pina colada in my right hand, I like for you all to achieve full enlightenment. It brings great joy and a lot of emotions, mixed emotions in my heart to see each and every single one of you grow, smiling, growing, and some of you who are new, who have surprised me. And even though I don't show it, I don't show it. I'm not to. If I praise you, then your head gets too big. If I blame you, you might become the next menace. So I try to be unmoved by keeping a neutral face, not a pleasant face, and not an unpleasant face, not a constipated face, not a face that just got back from Chuck E. Cheese, but a neutral face. Can you grab that for me? Oh, yeah. Hit the on button on top of it. Yeah, there you go. I forgot to activate it, so it auto shut off. Hmm. Chuck E. Cheese. Your Amazon package has arrived. Today is perhaps, most likely, today perhaps most likely going to be our last Sunday service because of the sustenance of the financial instability aspect of it. There's a lot of factors that affect today's. It's like the Venerable's dropping a bombshell today out of nowhere. Um, so the purpose and goal of today is to empower you, for me to inject into your heart Buddha medicine Buddha in your heart for inner strength, to reflect on what needs to be done, to reflect what happened in the days of yesterdays and what needs to be done in the following days ahead to ensure the survival of the Theravadan order, to ensure the survival of the Theravadan monks who are dying very quickly. The other day I went to sleep, and before I go to sleep, I do exactly what science tell me not to do, which is drag my laptop into my sleeping quarters and open it up. As I opened it up, I saw the youngest eminence in the Vajrayana tradition, and the kid was like 7 years old, if even, was elevated to his eminence that is below his holiness. And how long it took for me to have the same title. And I realized that how much far behind we are in Theravadan world. That we don't have many good, clear, precise. We don't have a lot of good English speaking monks. A monk has to be well rounded. He has to speak the language of the people, know how to match their level. He has to know the teachings of the Buddha, try to grasp as much as the 84,000 teachings as much as possible. He has to meditate. He has to have done the homework. He has to suffer. It's a lot, the cultivation of a Theravadan monk. To be a crappy monk, it's easy. There's like a crappy therapist, a crappy teacher, a crappy cop, a crappy lawyer, a crappy, you name it. It's easy. A crappy handyman. Notice the large hammer.
What's wrong with that?
Each and every single one of you got to observe my life in details and intimate with me. Intimate meaning to be with me, to be in my presence, to confront in the presence of another is intimacy. Not that other kind of intimacy. And you all are living and walking proof to tell the story. To tell the story when I'm no longer here. Left to tell the story to inspire other people who Jidao was, who he is, who he was, what his vision is for the world. And that is what happened with Ajahn Chah, and was what happened with the Buddha, was that his disciple, all of his disciples, the thousands of monks that he cultivated, and the first 5 that traveled with him after his enlightenment, was left to tell the story of who he is, who he was. that is written in our scriptures today, the book in front of Julius, Buddhist words. They cultivated their deep listening skills, and Venerable Ananda had such a superior memory to remember exactly what the Buddha had done, said. And the oral transmission of this tradition coming down 2,566 years was impressive. I have done all in my capacity in the past 8 untiring years to teach what needed to be taught, to meet each student where they're at in life, to use the best available science, to use everything that I know. I gave it all back for free. As consistent with this tradition. That's what's right about it. To preserve the integrity of the order, to preserve the integrity of the Vinaya as much as I could. As much as I could. In your life, whether you do become a monk or not, or live your life as a monk without having to be a monk as a layperson, try to live a blameless life as much as possible. Be effective, be efficient, utilize all of your faculties: eyes, nose, ears, mouth, your mind, the citta, to be the best and to be all that you can be, to maximize output, but at the same time taking care of yourself, to not work so much and so hard where your body gives up on you, to help others when you can, to remember the teachings of the Buddha, to remember the teachings of the great teachers. Anything that pulls you away from Buddha's words, anything that pulls you away from Buddhism, anything that pulls you away from me, be aware of it. It is a slow, gradual process of me stepping down in order to ensure my effectiveness and the effectiveness delivery of my output for the people towards the end of the year. What it means is that, and let's back up for a little bit. I've always been mesmerized by monks and priests that have been monks and priests for 40, 50 years. And I've always been mesmerized by the number of years of service that people have carried out their jobs. Especially doctors, lawyers, police officers, sergeants, captains, lieutenants, judges. Yeah, here in Pinellas County, the sheriff's office, they wear bars on their left hand to signify how many years they've been the cop. And what's important is the stars on top of those bars signify 5 years. Each bar signifies, I think, 2 or 1 year. And I met, well, actually, the one cop that's always picking on me, Deputy Cottrell, Lawrence Cottrell, something like that, something Cottrell. He had 4 circular stars. That's 20, with like 6 other stripes. And of course, they get a lot of money, right? They have a lot of resources, a lot of money to do their job. That's why they stay in it. Something that we Therabodians don't have. That's why we're dying. And it always crosses my mind before announcing such news as how did they do it and how could you not drag on anymore? Or at least for now. Keyword, at least for now. Why do you have to take a break now? Well, because the Catholic world has a lot of money. The Mahayana world has a lot of money. The Vajrayana world has a lot of money. I could have served the Vietnamese people, my own people that I've been serving for so long as an interpreter. But I've decided, no, you've grown up in American culture. You've been around the corner a couple times. You might as well bring this gift and talent to those who need it and want it the most. Or so I thought. For years and years, I operated without asking for anything, could not ask for anything, and continue not asking for anything in hope that people would understand why we practice dana, generosity. It seems like people have selective memory or selective conscious choice of choosing all the teachings except the teachings on dana. We will select it, we will practice everything else except dana. And here we are today. And blessed are those who actually practice dana, the few. So few, not just with me, but so few around the world. And I canonize them as Buddhist angels. So for those who actually even donated $1, 1 penny, 0.01 penny, send, becomes an instant angel in the school of Jidao. Why? Because there are so many who just take, and don't give. And so many, including the hospital. You go in the hospital, you go in the generosity section. The whole hospital, there's a wall the size of that board right there with probably about 50 names in a city of millions. That's right, we shake our head. So does the Buddha. He's shaking his head right now. And so is Jesus, shaking his head on Easter. Today's Easter. Resurrection. Celebration of his resurrection. The risen Christ. And all the angels and all of the popes and all of the saints also shake their head. And because you all are living proof, direct beneficiaries of everything that we have provided for each and every single one of you, that I have provided for each and every single one of you, in addition to the donated money, resources that went to clothing, that went to robes, that went to food, especially food. Y'all eat a lot. Necessary for the attainment of calories, necessary to translate that calorie into service for the people. As you all can see, that I've never wasted one moment of my life playing around. Each moment spent has to be productive, helpful in some way, shape, or form. And when I am lazy, it's for good cause. That means he's physically shutting down. He no longer has the mental capacity. His engine in his mind is burning out. Smoking. Needs WD-40. Needs BMW brand type oil. I gotta pick on your BMW. You're in the cars too, right? Yeah, all three of them. All three of you guys are in the car, so of course, gotta crack some jokes. I've been behind on my own research and studies in order to channel my energy and concentration towards each individual. I will never regret the time, energy, money, effort into cultivating any one of you. So those who are smart realize that what he's done for us, we will do for him. What does the Venerable expect of you? To behave. To behave. Don't kill no one. Don't rape nobody. Don't get so drunk where you don't know what on earth is happening. Don't get so high where you don't know where the sky is. All right? The precepts. That's it. Just keep the precept. Don't harm yourself. Don't harm other people. Give to charity. It doesn't have to be me. It could be St. Jude Cancer, Ronald McDonald House, whatever, whoever. And if y'all can do that, then I have done my job. What should you not do? Is be lazy and be a burden in the world. To eat, poop, sleep, sex, and not give it anything back to society is a terrible thing. You have two eyes, hands, feet, toes, spine. To give, to grow, to love, to inspire, to speak, to listen. Use all of the faculties to create your own heaven and not to bring hell to people and to yourself. That is the life well lived. And to see around you how many people give and don't give, to see around you who is the wise and who is a fool. Never forget to always assess and evaluate who is wise and who is a fool in your life, who you work with in your life, who you are around always and constantly in your life. They can make you or they can break you based on your assessment and evaluation. Everything you've been taught in the textbook may not be enough. I will continue to counsel you all. And for new people who are joining, I expect you all to go through the library of teachings on YouTube and should not use me as mere convenience to ask simple things such as, what is the Four Noble Truth? What is the Noble Eightfold Path? You should ask Google that first before going into details. I have been quite surprised at the questions that most of you have come to ask. It's very thoughtful, meticulous, precise, specific questions that give insight into your minds. It is a joy and challenge to answer them, a joy and challenge to lead. And so then came the novice ordination of Venerable Lee. I withhold for now the usage of venerable because each teacher is able to see the student's flaws, tendencies, and habits. Wearing these robes, one holds tremendous amount of power, authority, and jurisdiction over the minds of other people. And so therefore in the next days of tomorrow will be spent in cultivating the next monk to be. Or as Julius called it in the text message one time, what did you say? Do you remember? When I sent you pictures of my students, you said they are blank to be. There are Buddhas to be, that's right. And I put a smile throughout the whole entire month based on one sentence you said. And yes, I am cultivating them to be the next Buddhas. As close as to it, as close as to sainthood, as close as to bhikkhus, as I tirelessly can. Novice Lee has taken this path quite seriously, sitting in the car, pulling it up on Google, what a novice should, could, cannot do. He is quite dedicated to practicing the Vinayak ways, but it's okay. He's very analytical, very psychological. Sometimes it serves you well, sometimes it could really overheat your engine of your brain. But I have hope that he is going to be the next light and torch, the next emerging young monks. You know, a lot of monks don't practice what I practice, and engaging in a very difficult art to master, which is the art of psychotherapy. To sit with the broken, to superglue all the broken parts of people and their families. It takes a heavy toll on one's heart if you're not prepared for it, if you're not equipped for it. Therefore, I have to train the next generation of monks carefully, slowly, thoroughly, effectively, so they don't get burnt out. Any questions so far? Hmm. What this means is that I will retreat to my quarters and continue to lead you all who are willing to come and to sit and to meditate and to listen. Uh, Sometimes here, sometimes in the park, as we are closest to the woods as possible. Sometimes at the beach. And I would imagine there's never a dull moment in your life being with me, for those who have traveled with me. The constant, never ending laughter, the constant and never ending learning. It's made me young. It's actually counter of what I have to deal with on a daily basis, right? The great joy of having young students run circles around me and crack jokes. It's the amount of jokes they crack. The slickness, the freshness, the language, the actions. Oh, do I get it all? And so it's a good time in my life to slow down a little bit, to collect all of these data that I have absorbed and put it on paper so that we can write books, so I can write books and dish it out. The Four Noble Truths need to be meditated weekly for each and every single one of you. The Noble Eightfold Path need to be practiced every single day. Let me share a story with you all to inspire you all. Earlier this week, I battled with a senior member of the Huang's family, my family, the paternal side of the family. We all know the Huang's family includes lawyers, doctors, professors. I became the first spiritual physician in the family. Spiritual meaning a doctor of spirituality, a doctor of suffering, a doctor that knows how to diagnose according to the Buddhist ways. What is it? How do we fix it? How do we end suffering? And what is the path towards it? As I battle with the senior, it's terrible, right? The senior member was 73 years old. And battling with their ego, I took all of my strength and energy and I went at it. And after everything was said and done, it was very crippling to me. What does that mean? Let's back up a little bit. You all watch X-Men, right? Xavier, Professor Xavier, yeah? Remember he's in the little wheelchair, the little helmet? Remember when he puts that helmet on and he has full concentration about what's going on in the world, right? The little blueprint of the world. He closes his eyes. And sometimes you see him go like this, and he's really fully using all his brain power to do what needs to be done. Then once, what happens when he takes the helmet off?
Exhausted.
He's exhausted. He's exhausted. So what did all this all mean is that I'm exhausted, just like Xavier. I've been wearing that helmet for 8 years. And prior to wearing that helmet, I wore a lighter form of that helmet as an interpreter, serving all areas of medicine and all areas of law, without knowing how to deal with my emotions, watching people die and stuff like that. The insight here, very important for all of you to realize the existence of the ego and the practice of the non-self. The one thing you all must try to tame as you watch it unfold in other people. And mind you, the senior member of the family has more degrees than you could ever imagine. So quite academically enlightened, but not spiritually enlightened. And because of that, this Professor Xavier had to try to tame that ego, but it was very exhausting. Remember when Iron Man and whatever his name is was battling? Remember all the Marvel movies where they fly up in the air and they beat the crap out of each other and they fall down and that, yeah? That's what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing in people's minds. I love every single one of you. I love every single human being that ever came across me. But I'm trained to pew. I'm trained to go pew like Superman up in the air and then dives right into your mind. And I have my ways of testing you. I have my ways of measuring you. I have my ways of trying to see how the ego proliferates, how it has been destructive in your life, and how it is showing itself towards in front of me. We are trained to see wounds inside of your hearts. You almost cut yourself today, yeah? Who almost cut themselves today on that fence?
Okay, I cut quite a few times.
Quite a few, right? You are at risk of cutting yourself. And if you cut yourself, what would be visible?
Lines of wound.
Right. Something you can see, slap a band-aid on, or maybe throw some dirt and keep walking, right? The invisible wounds of your hearts, not a lot of people can see. The pain, the turmoil, the post-traumatic stress, the distress in your heart, the distress in your mind, I'm able to detect, and quickly. Minutes, sometimes seconds, moment to moment, day to day, how mindful I have to be, right? To not only worry about my own mind and body, but to also be vigilant how your mind jumps, how your own psychological demon comes out and attacks you and grab hold of you and tell you life is not worth it. Take your life, take your life. No one loves you. No one cares about you. They're all just using you. I am trained to see that. I'm trained to jump in and lift you up quickly. As you slowly sink into the ocean, as you slowly become Jack and Rose, you're Jack, not Rose. Rose is on the door, chilling. No, she's not even, yeah, she's on the door, right? Just floating. Damn it, Rose. Oh, lazy self. And here comes Jack, right? In the Titanic, just slowly sinking. I'm trained to have this supernatural power of this long extended arm and reaching down in the cold water and grab you and pull you back up slowly. That's what happened with Eric. That's what happened with Steve. That's what happened with many students, which I'm not going to disclose everybody's name and their mothers on live talks, right? And no matter how tiring that is, kind of like a lifeguard, forever vigilant on the waters to see who is sinking. That is why Buddhism helps you deal with other people's egos and your own egos, because it's a very destructive force. That battle with the senior member, what saddens me is that all the families that I have helped so happens to be my own family that I could not. And to exert that amount of energy and the precise words, the sharp words. Today, you all got to see a bunch of tools being used in order to get that piece of metal apart. The tools were dull and blunt, was it not? Certain words I reserve in my mind, used at the right time, in the right context, at the right place, with a little bit of projection in order to decimate one's ego, obliterate one's ego. Well, that I did. But it left me crippling, psychologically crippling, because now I have to justify why I did that to our great Lord Karma. To always screen whether that was appropriate at that time, whether it was beneficial for both parties involved, to see if there was any karmic effects that will take place thereafter. At some point, I said, "You are the student, and I am the teacher. I am the teacher of all teachers. And you at 73 is a mere child." See, in the biography of the Buddha, one could say he flexed, but he flexed for a reason. He flexed so that all the other egos can be like, "Oh, okay, all right, we see who's boss." As humble as I am, right? Or at least I try to be. And I'm not perfect, never will be. Now I understand why the Buddha flexed. And sometimes in your life, you will need to flex. And you have my authority to flex. Right time, the right place. Because some family members are so hard to tame. Some loved ones are so hard to tame. The example I'm giving today tells you how difficult it is, how tiring it is to ensure your own peace. It wounded my heart. If you were to take my heart out and lay it here in front of you, it would have a lot of scratches and scars. What caused all of this? Well, what did the Buddha say? Ignorance, root cause. Ignorance of the truth of suffering. How in your own families, in other people, and all of our viewers reflect how they did not see how they suffered, how they did not see how you suffered. So therefore, every action they took, either directly or indirectly, contributed to their suffering and your suffering. What a terrible thing. How beautiful we could all be as humans and treat each other right, with respect, with courtesy, with cordiality, being a gentleman. The old days of the old English ways. Sit, have a cup of tea. No yelling, no screaming, no finger pointing. The careful choice of what the dictionary is really big, but yet we struggle to find the right words, to find a common ground in agreement to live peacefully and cohabitate in harmony together. Terrible thing. Terrible thing. Therefore, I have decided to slowly detach. In the definition of detached, meaning I wasn't attached like that onto them. Matter of fact, I had decided to stick around to take care of some family members because due to old age, somewhere down the line, they forgot how grateful that was, being the only child in the family, in the midst of saving people around in the hundreds and thousands of people around the world, delaying his own enlightenment and peace. He is a service to others and his own family. And yet they're unappreciative of you and to me. But it's not them, is it? It's their minds that we're trying to tame here. And it is exactly your minds. It's not, oh my God or oh my Buddha, it's oh my mind. So, what do I see when I sit here? I see eyeballs, I see a nose, I see a long nose, I see ears, I see hair, I see skin, I see tattoos on the skin, I see teeth, I see bones, I see blood. I see chemical makeups. I see fingernails. I see keratin, which is your fingernails. So all of you are just dust to dust, ashes to ashes, skin to skin, bones to bones. But what sets each and every you apart is your mind. So So every day, reflect on the minds of other people. Understanding one monkey, you understand the rest of the other monkeys. So that's why always cultivate a good heart, and you must win the battle within your own minds and never give in to Mara, your own psychological demon that's ever present, always present, ever present. I know both of you are still struggling with family members. You're still struggling with family members. Are you struggling with anyone or pretty much at peace?
With my family.
Not really. You see the statistics here? So there's five of us in here. Four of us don't exempt. Now imagine that in the world.
Especially our world in America.
And with the thousands of stories that I have heard, with the thousands of stories that I have heard, it all traces back to family. Today was supposed to take place in another student with me counseling their families and how certain family members did not show up today in regards to those who are present in this room, not the ones that's present and who are sick or other reasons that reached out to me this morning. So don't feel guilty. Certain people are, is he talking about us? No. It's for the purpose of teaching, not condemning. But blessed are those who are here, and blessed are those who are reading the teachings and studying the teachings and listening and just trying to figure it out. They want to be one step closer to be free from the bondage, to be free from the tangle. But the majority is still left in the dark, in ignorance, in willful ignorance, knowingly, willfully, and intentionally wanting to stay home, engage in entertainment, and have lost the battle. Is losing the battle and will probably will lose the battle towards the end. And what did the Buddha say? Excellence in the beginning, excellence in the middle, and excellence towards the end. So therefore, if you started out in the beginning, wasn't so great, it's all right. Now we're in the middle together. And we will cultivate excellence now in the middle, in hope that we will be excellent towards the end, victorious towards the end. The rare few Marines in Buddhism, the few, the proud, the Theravadins. Many times in my life, I wanted to give up, had a gun, chambered it a couple times, couldn't do it because I was needed and wanted elsewhere in this county to be an interpreter, to serve the people. I couldn't really take my own life. Just like the many out there who wants to take their own life, I struggled just like the rest of you. But somewhere down the line, I was determined towards the middle of this. I should cultivate excellence. Never once for a minute, you all know that I doubted you. That's why you're here, and that's why I continue doing what I'm doing, because each of you have the capacity to be excellent. So one of the titles out there is Your Excellency. You've heard of that? It is to denote a king, an emperor, or back in the Roman days, the days of yesterday. I hope you all, just for fun, should never be attached to any title, even if you're a senator, governor, president, your eminence, your holiness, your excellency. but try to be the rare few and live a private life like you all have been, to yourself, by yourself, in excellence. Excellence in studies, excellence in meditation, excellence in dealing with people. Don't you all stretch for a second? So I need to use the restroom for a second. Get up, move around, stretch your back. Now you look like, how do you expect to be a monk the rest of your life?
Like this.
Oh, I just I know. I gotta work on it. I've been trying. Need more back muscle. It's the further. Oh, yeah. It's not this good. People are easy about.
I drink from somewhere over here.
That's it right there? Yeah. Oh, oh. Okay. Is it too low?
Just, I don't know.
Try that one. No, just try that. We have another one in there. Another purple one. Give them a purple one. Because of your long legs, you need a higher one. There you go. Yeah, that's why they have different sizes. I so happens to be fun sized. Sometimes too much fun. Hello. Um, dạ, ngày hôm nay nghỉ tại vì mưa nữa. Yeah. Dạ 1:04 tại vì ngày hôm nay nó cái thời tiết nó giống như nó muốn mưa mưa vậy đó. Dạ. Dạ. Dạ, hai cái yếu tố là lệ với lại mưa đó thì chỉ nó nguy hiểm á. Dạ. Tại vì hồi bữa sáng này nó có mưa đó. Dạ. Dạ. Can we shut that door? I have an assignment tomorrow. Are you available after school? Question mark. Okay, so in your life so far, I'm pretty sure all of us have had regrets. Yes, and so have I. Deep regrets, actually. Regrets of what we did or did not do. Action or inaction constitutes regret. That's why there's a science of decision making process so that you make the right decision, say the right thing at the right time. But not a lot of us were born, we're not taught that. So we go out and we're just doing this. And so many people dismiss us, or just whatever the case may be in your own relationship, love relationships. A lot of this gets you into a lot of trouble. Like my professor said, if you would shut up, she would run out of things to say. Whether you didn't do something on time or fail to act on time, fail to heed the advices of the wise, which may include your family members, led to regret. However, in Buddhism, we don't emphasize on regret that much. We don't want to attach on to that much. The school of Qidao assert that get up, get out, let's do it, fix it right now, turning point. Everything yesterday was now death. What you do now and on forward gives birth to new and exciting things. You should not be complacent. Should not dwell on, oh, I'm a failure, or I didn't do this, or I couldn't do that. No. Do it yourself, DIY. And how do you do it by yourself? Well, there's Google and there's YouTube. Look at all the things that you've been able to fix on YouTube just by watching YouTube alone. I'm on YouTube. Don't know how to meditate? Google Qidao. YouTube Qidao, whatever. Any questions so far in regards to the teachings of the Buddha? The middle way? Because we're talking about people in your life and in my life and so on, I would say that in life there are many circumstances that brings up ethical, moral dilemmas. Ethical and moral dilemmas. That makes you scratch your head, right? Where you're like, wait, hold on. You're the father, and you're the mother, and you're the brother, and you're the sister, and this is happened. And you want to fix it by telling her what? You want to fix this by blaming on who? Ah. So the teachings of the Buddha serves as a guideline, as truth. In American law, we call that findings of facts, conclusion of law. Which let me go back to the handcuff key law. Remember the handcuff key law? Out of all laws, I'd like to pick on this one. Was that if you have a handcuff key, it's a felony. If you're a felon in possession of a key, that's a felony, right? So let's say if you're a regular human and you have the key, it's still a felony, unless it's on a key ring. And there are two defenses to that law, which is make sure it's on a key ring, and immediately being placed under arrest, you need to effectively and immediately disclose that you have it. So a lot of people get things twisted up in the court of law because I've been there for 18 years. Is that, especially possession of marijuana, constructive possession, and what was the other one? Constructive possession, and it was another type of possession in the car. And huh?
Paraphernalia?
No. There's so many elements to the violation of it. Drug, narcotics, law violation. No, not that either. I don't have time to look it up. But there are so many little minor things in the law. That's why lawyers, they have to like look it up, dig into it, on the day. Every pre-trial, lawyers have that book in front of them. It's like that thick, the state statutes. So they can flip it. Anyway, I'm pretty sure all y'all here have committed crime like I did. And all y'all here have looked up the crime that you wanted to commit, and you realize that these are the defenses to the crime that I'm about to commit, is committing right now. Okay? Trust me. I've committed a lot of crimes myself. None of them like hurt people. Just stupidity. Pure stupidity. I was once a stupid child. And so you all know, okay? Do not commit crimes across the world just because I said that. Oh, well, he done committed crimes. I'm going to commit a crime. No, you're not, because that's why the jails got bigger, waiting for you to join involuntarily. So, of course, right? So, people always have this twisted up story of how it went down. Just reflect on your own families and your own relationships, Remember all them females twisted all that up in their head? And the truth here is, it is what it is, and it can't be what it ain't, Anna. It is what it is, and it can't be what it ain't, Rebecca, Karen, Susan, Julie, whatever, you name it. Felicia, DeQuisha, Precious, Sierra. That's why I appreciate the privateness of your two lives right here. I got two students in front of me who I describe as Pajeka Buddhas, private Buddhas, because y'all understand and see clearly, deeply, complications of human minds, complication of human life. It's too bad, right, that we have to pay bills and bills in our face. But if you could have it your way, shit, Alaska. You, your dog, your guns, your little beef ravioli, and you're happy. Make sure you have access to water. Right? Same like me. If I could have it my way, damn, I'm gone. I want to be in the woods, wear brown like that guy, blend right in. All the wolves come up so I can pet them. A monk, when he practices right, he attracts all sorts of animals in the wild because they can see the emanation of peace. So it's like having a pet store without having to pay rent. That's the life of a monk. Did you know that? No, obviously. Yeah. Whatever animals that you like, they just come up and they're like, oh, it's kind of like Bailey, right? It's like, oh my God, please pet me. Oh, they want to hang out with the arahants in the woods. That's what all the animals did with the Buddha. He walked into the forest and they all just came running right up to him. He just chill with them. They don't talk back. So what's up, bro? And they're like, the little snakes, Buddha's like, all right, don't bite. So when it comes to humans, you must know the truth. And what guideline do you use to get to the truth of the matter at hand when they try to twist up the story, when they try to gaslight you, when they put lies that is not there, right? You didn't text, you didn't call, you went you statement, right? Now, you not done. No, you didn't say that. This is what you said. No, I know what I said, and I know what happened, and I know where I left the keys. I know exactly where your phone was, and I know exactly how much that bill was. I know how much I borrowed from Amscott. Damn it. Right? The complications of the human world, right? The fact that they did not adopt the teachings of the Buddha, so they would not lie out of ignorance. They lie, not even know it. They don't even see the problem. So therefore, part of me empowering you, giving you inner strength in the forthcoming days, is so that you know and you understand. You understand, and you tell yourself, I understand the complexities of life. I understand what needs to be done. I understand that I need to study this so that I can be a judge of my own life. I can be a leader in my own life. I know how to assess and evaluate effectively when it comes to other humans. If I stop doing what I'm doing here and start asking you questions about people in your life, oh, holy hell, all the stories going to come out. And we will spend decades talking about it. Not 1 month, not 1 year, but decades trying to unravel the things that has been done. All the wrongs that has been done. That's what's complicated. And all the build-up emotions, full of BS. Why these emotions were there in the first place is continuing to build up until this present day. And in Buddhism, how we need to learn to let that go. This would be the most profound advice I will give you all as I limit my presence in order to revitalize, reinvigorate, re-energize for my Vietnam trip, for the people who are going to Vietnam with me, right? A break necessary, but in between the breaks, I will never stop studying. I will never stop meditating. And everything is just a little bit limited. That's why they said, for limited time, offer only. And blessed are those who took advantage of that. When did you get that book, Julius?
5 days ago.
And why did you get it?
To learn more about, to learn deeper into concepts of the Buddha.
Bhikkhu Bodhi just came out with Four Noble Truths, Noble Truth, Noble Path, by the same author, Bhikkhu Bodhi. So this is an overview of all the cardinal teachings of the discourses in the Pali Canon in the basket of the Nikaya. But the next one you should get or should order quickly is the Noble Truth. Oops. There goes your bookmark. Remember your page?
It was just me.
Noble Truth, and because that summarizes all of the Buddha's teachings, is the Four Noble Truth. If you die in the next 60 seconds, the amount of knowledge that you received will go on with you. We call that streams of consciousness into your next life. So therefore, this is the raft that you hang on to, and the many more that needs to be downloaded before your next iPhone transfer. Your next iPhone transfer, right? That's rebirth. Next iPhone transfer. iPhone 6 going to iPhone 7, data transfer. without needing Wi-Fi. That's rebirth. See, it just transferred. I just took rebirth. I'm now a new venerable. I'm a genius to come up with that analogy. Because I had done it with the other phone. I went in T-Mobile and I said, I need all TikTok here to here. And the dude's like, fire it up. And as soon as it says set up manually, he says, don't touch it. Then it appeared like the phone thing. And he's like, Choop. And it did it without Wi-Fi, any 5Gs, nothing. And I was like, all of the knowledge, memory, and wisdom from this phone goes to this phone in a different body. That's rebirth. Better hope it's a favorable one too, and not the animal realm. From human to cat. Holy shit. Now you can't speak. You can just meow. Or a worm. Right. And if you don't like this life, the way how things have been, all the BS you had to live through, all the people that was in your life, all the people that you thought you trusted, all the people that you thought I could trust you. I put my faith, confidence. I was unshakable in my faith and confidence in you. And yet they turn their backs on you. But don't hold them in contempt. Because by and through the ignorance of the Four Noble Truths, they did what they did. And now we just proceed on forward in saving ourselves and not wait for them to save us. Don't wait for me to save you. You must save yourself. No one can, no one may. You must save yourself, said the Buddha. Private Buddhas achieve enlightenment by and through their own discovery, by and through direct self-inquiry and experience. I find it very comforting, private, and peaceful when I hold a book to myself, by myself, to myself, reading each line, reflecting on each line, and realizing I am one word closer, one step closer to nirvana. It only takes one sentence for you to become a fully enlightened being, whichever that one is. One of them is to be mindful of your thoughts. That alone should bring you towards stream entry, first stage of sainthood. So therefore, once you've mastered this, enlightenment is found here on this earth. You were born on this earth, you were raised on this planet, and you can and will achieve enlightenment right here. It's a lot of things to do as a Buddhist in this world. The many check marks and checklist, of keeping the precept, check mark, check mark, check mark. Noble truth, check mark, check mark, check mark. Noble path, check mark, check mark, check mark. 7 factors of enlightenment, check mark, check mark, check mark. Being aware of the hindrances, check mark, check mark, check mark. Bojangas. The 4 protective meditation function, check mark, check mark, check mark. That is helpful towards samadhi, vipassana. Under vipassana, 4 foundations of mindfulness, check mark, check mark, check mark. We have a lot of check marks in Buddhism. How could you say it's boring? It's not a boring path. It's not like any other religion where you just sit, pray, and be done. Sit, pray, go home, back, and eat your pizza. Pray again tomorrow. Keep asking. Hopefully you get what you asked for, right? No, we don't pray. But if you do, don't pray too long or too much. You need to gather yourself. You need to figure the check marks out. How we're gonna achieve the check mark. If I told you to change the spark plug, well, damn it, how are you gonna change it? Tell me.
too.
You too.
Damn it. Spark plug. You've changed spark plug before?
I have.
Right. Contribute how to change spark plug.
Okay, so well, you gotta take off the top of the engine, but locate the spark plug first, where it's at on the engine. And then you take the hood off, and then you gotta unplug each, depending on the and then you gotta lift the cover up. Then you gotta take the coil off. Then after the coil, you gotta go in and get the wrench, pull it out, inspect it, make sure that it's working right.
Okay. You get my point? The analogy of doing it by yourself, DIY, getting it done, instead of praying, "Dear Buddha, let it never misfire."
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Too.
How many people do you think do that, especially women, who get in their car and pray and said, "Oh, dear universe, dear God, dear somebody, let it fire up today. Let it not misfire."
Mm.
V8 engine. Only 4 is firing on a cold day.
Wow. That's not good.
So therefore, Buddhists, we figure it out. Look at the blueprint, look at the instructions, right? That's what the Buddha did. He left us instructions. He's like, if you think life sucks, or if life sucks right now, here's my instructions to you. And then you're like, I got you, G. I got you. Oh, got it. Okay. Sit. You do that often, check mark. Accomplished. Well done. That's what sadhu means, right? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. It means well done. Well done what? Well, you did what needs to be done. Well done. Like a steak. Well done. Don't burn my steak. I like it rare, not well done. So, any questions so far? Now, from time to time, visit my YouTube so that as I'm updating my teachings, when I go into the Nikayas, when I go to study the suttas or pull things out of Bhikkhu Bodhis, oh, wow. I just realized he received a foreword from the Dalai Lama himself. That's His Holiness forwarding another His Holiness from a different tradition. Wow. Magnanimous. Go and update and figure it out. You know, I was supposed to decrease in frequency a long time ago, actually. I've already set the intention. I've already told people my intentions. But how could I say no to Dom, who brought you down? And how could I say no to you, who he introduced to? And look at the bright faces of hope. Same thing with Julius. Right? How could I say no to Papu? Right? Papu. Akuna Matata. Papu is grandpa, right? In what?
Greek.
Greek. When you all visit me in my wheelchair, call me Papu. Venerable Papu. Venerable Papu. So a lot of excitement in the forthcoming days, and you should come down every Sunday and join us at the park, right? And for those who have been a student in this class, cô đến 2 giờ rưỡi nhé. Dạ. 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 Obviously prepare for quite a few boring months to come. Hopefully, I have months to come with you, giving resources available, time, effort, energy, and my health. Months of studying and practicing, sometimes the old ways, the Theravadan ways of sitting underneath the book and studying until your brain explodes. You have a lot of catching up to do. You should strive to be the next His Eminence. His Eminence Lee. His Eminence Ajahn Lee. Because you're 21 and you're now in direct competition with all of these other younger eminences at 8 years old. And holy cow, they really selected smart ones. Because you watch these 8-year-olds, how mindful they are, their eyes, how they move. Wow. There's a lot of leadership in their eyes alone. The eyes tell us all. And I realized, damn, we're behind the race. That meant out of 84,000 teachings, you need to absorb in the dozens of thousands of words and memorize them with the good memory that you have, all of your wits and faculties. So Novice Lee came to me as a student and wanting to inspire other people to, he focuses more on the spiritual side of life, which is very rare to see someone who's 20 years old, 21 years old, right? Because usually they play with Glock switches and really try to elude law enforcement. His intelligence, he can break into a bank. His intelligence, he can give you a hard time in cybersecurity if he really wanted to, right? Amongst your peers, right? He could. Had he not taken this path, his definition of fun would be stealing your BMW outside effectively and change your spark plugs after he's done with it
Then
with one hand. Look at him. Look how mysterious he is. Look at his eyes. See? Hard to read, right? Deadly. He's so deadly. So fatal. The potential and opportunistic to be fatal. Thank the Lord Buddha, the kid wants to be ordained. But all of you, though you're not in robes, you are still in high, tremendous hope in my eyes. To carry on every day, to work, to live, to love, to smile, to grow, and reel your ass back into the Dhamma. To sit your ass down and read. And not to play around and fool around with your time. Sit your ass down and do what needs to be done. Truth be told, Ajahn Chah was and still is Venerable Father to the many living arahants that teaches today. Amazing, that man. Somewhere down the line, I feel like Ajahn Chah will pretty soon probably look like Ajahn Chah. A young Venerable Father I am. That's quite young. A description to describe how I'm raising young pre-saints and young saints to be, young Buddhists to be, in the best way I know how. So somewhere down the line, you all should look at me as a Venerable Father when I am not around, when I am not here, when I'm in Vietnam or elsewhere. And I should be in your ear often, as Ajahn Chah is often in my ears, often. Which is to be mindful of preference, which is your thing, actually. I'm a picky eater. What else are you picky about?
everything.
Oh, Lord. What is the root cause of that?
Indecisiveness.
And control.
Yeah.
I know. I know. When there's lack of one's life, one try to control every other thing, such as food and clothes and girls. I don't want that kind of weed. I want different kind of Zaza. So, if you lessen your preference, you will be more at peace. True or false? Right? Eat to survive, not because it tastes good. Eat to survive because, ew, there's onions. Ew, there's cherries. Ew, there's salad. Ew, there's shredded leaves. Oh. When a Janchal said that, be aware of your preference. If it's hot, embrace it, endure it. If it's cold, endure it, embrace it. Sit with it. Sit with the uncomfort. And go through it. And you have less preference. The less preference you have, the more you are at peace. And could you use more peace in your life? Now, should you live around the corner from us, we would feed you ramen noodles, we would feed you all the things that you hate and eat to survive. And then slowly you see, oh, simplicity. How simple. He left us gold treasures of advice, gold and treasures of the how to be more enlightened in this life, Achan Cha. And obviously he's wearing Achan Cha's colors, the Thai forest traditions, one of the most fierce colors in Theravadan world. Too bad some people misuse that color. They want to portray as if they are from the Thai forest tradition and do not behave or practice the right way. You're taller, so you need a bigger robe. So that's a bigger robe. But one day, truly, you looked up to Dutanga tradition, Tamayutika, the many traditions available in Thailand. And that's one that is most revered because they eat once a day. They don't lie down to sleep. They sit in meditation to sleep. And they sleep about 4 hours a day in an erected position underneath a tree with a net over them underneath an umbrella. Their home is underneath an umbrella. Their other home is in a cave with bats. Hang out with the bats. The bats like, what's up, dude? Pretty soon, one day, you'll get to sit here and teach them the Four Noble Truths. You all should embrace the forthcoming days, his emergence, to study and learn and give back. And as your life will continue, you will love, you will, get married and whatever, have kids. Slowly, you will need the constant reminders in life. That's why we have Sundays, the Holy Sabbath Day in the Christian world, right? Holy Sabbath Day. So you learn to forgive and ask for forgiveness. You just learn all the teachings of the gospel so that you don't forget. We humans simply forget. Forget to tell her how you love her. If you love her, you don't say enough of it. So in spiritual practice, you forget to let go. You forget to let go of preference. You forget to be watchful and mindful of your thoughts when you are alone, to be careful with your words when you're around other people. So don't forget. And hopefully the young novice will slowly take over and soon become a young Dhamma teacher. And the checklist for you is probably start off as a Dhamma teacher. And after teaching, you meditate on the same teaching that you just gave. It's no different than what I'm doing. As I am repeating myself, I'm meditating on my own words so that I don't become a hypocrite. Less of a hypocrite. Or isn't that humble, right? He doesn't sit here and he says he's perfect and he's enlightened. He sits there imperfect, perfectly imperfect as he is, to remind himself by and through his own teachings and meditate on his own words so that he doesn't become a hypocrite or more of a hypocrite.
Lesson learned.
And how many people are hypocrites out there? Oh my God. Right? So this cultivates the next generation of monks, the next generation of all you humans. Don't be a hypocrite. They won't take you seriously. The people will be like, your words and your actions are not congruent. You are a joke. Clown. Too clown. Too clown. So clearly you all understand the middle way of how I explain things, how I teach, how I lead, and go into your life, have fun with it. Don't take things too seriously. If I sat here and became a Jancha over the past hour, you all would not want to live after today. The way of the Thai forest monks, sometimes that's why some of them hang themselves, actually. Very strict. So be nice to yourself, be nice to other people, remain private, try not to engage in the public, engage with the public only when necessary. You're getting a lot of questions from your journey, and Google it, dude. Go on Chidao's YouTube, it's all there. Can't talk right now during training. Training in progress, right? Busy, do not disturb. You know, like that little sign on the door at the hotel. Busy, do not disturb. That's right. You will learn to need to learn a lot of boundaries as a forthcoming young Gen Z monk, as you will be a bunch of praise and blame. But it is the blame that will be very discouraging. Some will call you all sorts of names like they do with all of us, right? You're a loser, you're a gangster, you're a murderer. Are you even a real monk? And not authorized to ask for money, not authorized to ask for rides, not authorized to ask for anything. And one must suffer by walking. One sometimes must suffer until you have obtained permission from the teacher or from the monastic order to help you in times of destitute and need. I waited for 7 years before I could start to hint that the program needs more fundings. Hint, not even a direct, I need more fundings. Hint of it. You must walk on eggshells because everyone's watching you to fall. Like they did to me, like they did to everybody else. You paint a big target on your back when you are who you are and you practice what you practice. That's in Buddhism. Nonetheless, you became a senator and you became a governor. Nonetheless, wait for the praise and blame that you all have to deal with, just like every other politician having to deal with, right? You're misusing funds, you're taking our money, you have a yacht, you have $1 million company, could never please everybody. Could never please everybody. And likewise, I am just a messenger that came with a message and point the way for all of you. Should not be attached onto me for any reason at any time, and to heed the advice of the message and to practice and test out the message and pass it along. In my career and forthcoming days, as I engage into missionary work and social justice work, meaning I'm going to be pissing off a lot of people in regards to standing up for LGBTQIA+, standing up against wars in the world. You're going to get all sorts of people that's going to call me all sorts of names that will come across your ears. So embrace it. Someone has to do it. I'll do it. Why? Because I don't care. I'm just a human with eyeballs and a mouth, and how I will use that to inspire, to lessen, to use social media the right way. to advocate for world peace, and to preserve the existence of Mother Earth, who is dying of pollution, who is dying of microplastics in the ocean. A wise person does not harm his or her environment. So I'll be in the list of Professor Bjorn Lomborg with the Consensus Center, who advocates for climate change. I'll be on the shit list with Miss Greta.
Oh. No,
What's her last name?
I forgot, yeah, but I know who you're talking about.
Huh?
Greta Thunberg.
Thunberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, GDAO is going to be underneath that. You know, I've already hinted to everyone that I'm going to be the next Reverend Al Sharpton. So expect me getting shot sometimes down the road too. Yeah, it'd be nice to take out a low 9mm. Be like, look what I found. It's like airsoft but bigger. But why am I saying this to all of you? Is try not to get involved into what I'm about to get involved into out there.
Mm.
You don't have the mental caliber for it. You won't. Focus on your own enlightenment. Because you all will look for permission to do that as it directly relates to anger. I'm angry that they're hurting the world. I'm angry that we are at war. I'm angry at certain presidents. I'm angry at certain. Leave it up to us. Leave it up to us who are well trained, well rounded, well educated, well skilled to stand up for the weak and the meek. For the rest of you, you all have 84,000 teachings to master. Stay there where it's safe with no flying bullets. So a lot of you who are young looking for permission to proliferate, to go forth in arms and spears and bows and arrows, don't do it. At this current time, it is my holy order to stand down. That is subject to change, and when the time is right, I will lift up the army of the Dhamma. And when the time is right, you will have your chance with your voice, and hopefully voice only. A lot of justice needs to be done. It's all right. It's beyond our thing. And one should also be careful not to engage in those kind of conversations with others. To be mindful and practice right speech. Religion and politics really doesn't get anywhere unless you're in front of Congress, the House of Senate, judiciary committees, the Supreme Court. All right, so we shall conclude our service. Any last questions or anything? Oh, I think the last thing I need to say is this program and school now relies on each and every single one of you to find it in your intelligence and find it deep within your heart how much you have been inspired and influenced, how much this program has helped you change. You know, some of you are new. For all of the seasoned students, reflect back across the world and the benefits that you see, how this should and could survive through our economic times. And it depends on your support in any way that you can to contribute back to this program in hope that it will revive back to full status. As the funding will go to, number one, healthcare for the monk and or monks and nuns. As the fundings will go to rent, the rental of space, such as this place. This place is actually free, but of course, at the end of the month, I always have an envelope for Christina, because one should not do that, right? One should not take advantage of free, because nothing in life is actually free. And we Theravadins will not take that as free. We will give more and take less, as always. The benefits of giving is immeasurable because why? Because it has to do with emotional currency. Emotional currency of which no one can take away from you. Someone will take your watch away from you. Someone will take your BMW away from you. Someone can deprive you of your liberty, rights, and freedom. They'll take your guns away from you, but they can never take away that emotional aspect of the good things and the bad things that you have done. So therefore, do as most good as you can, because it cannot be taken away from you, and you can access that at any point in time in your mind, knowing that the money went to the right place, to the right people, for the right reasons. Three things you should always ask yourself: right people, right place, for the right reason, and is not funding terrorism or human trafficking. Any last questions? No? What a quiet class. As I conclude this again, I'm in good health. I just need to slow down a little bit, entering semi-retirement stage. What does that mean? I've worked with Dr. Watcher, and Dr. Watcher is we don't know if he's fully retired or semi-retired, but he likes to go back to work 60 times a year and retire 50 times a year. I think I may enter that type of stage, multiple frequent breaks. But for the time being, I need the break necessary because of family issues right now and financial issues right now in regards to my program, and that I need to focus full concentration on a monk who is being cultivated to be the next leader in the Theravadan world. That statement should be profound, deep, and magnanimous for all who belongs to the Theravadan orders, because I have hand-selected someone, I have ordained someone, that is Novice Lee, and I have reason to believe that he has much gifts to offer to the world that the world needs right now, because goodness struggles over evil like it always has been. So therefore, we need the next most sharpest, most talented, quickest Theravadan monks we can find in this competitive world, and make them sharp, give them all the tools so they can go forth and conquer all of the maras that exist in people's minds to defeat anger, greed, and ignorance. So you all are still able to contact me. Just know that things will be a little bit limited, and you are most likely be directed and redirected back to the YouTubes. And again, you should contact me not out of convenience, but for a thorough review of the Four Noble Truths and or any counseling sessions. And I appreciate all of your continuous support and previous supports that all of you have made by and through thoughtfulness, wise intelligence, understanding the desperate needs of such program to exist and continue to exist during tough times. Let us put our hands together. Yatha varivaha pura paripuranti sakarang ewame wa ito dinang petanang upakapati ichitang patitang tumhang kipame wasame chatu sape purentu sankapa chando panyaraso yatha manicho adiraso yatha sapitiyo vivanchan dasa parogo awina satumate fawanto antarayo sukidi hayuko bawa abiwan dan sile senichang buddha bacani no chataro thamma watandi ayuwanno kang palang bawatasap pamangkalang rakan tusapadi wadasa babuddha dufa we nasada so ti bawandu de bawatasap pamangkalang rakan tusapadi wadasa pasangka dufa we nasada so ti bawandu de. May you all go in peace, in joy, in happiness, in good health. May the teachings of the Buddha, the Dhamma, protect all of you from the foolishness in the world, the foolishness that is awaiting to shower upon you, to rain on your parade, And how you solidify your study and practice will protect you from such rain. Like a house with a roof, and your roof is properly, thoroughly, and completely covered, thatched, should not let not even a single hole seep where the water can seep through your house and make a mess on the inside. Reflect on this teaching and analogy that the Buddha left us to constantly every day improve your house, your roof, to protect your mind, body, soul, spirit, consciousness from evil, from foolishness, from unwholesome action, speech. You all are potential Buddhas to be. You all are potential Arahants to be. You all are Buddhist angels to be. Go forth and make your teacher proud. Go forth in light. Go forth in mindfulness. The world awaits each and every single one of you to graduate. The world awaits to hear your voice, your report, your teachings, your inspiration, your calmness, your serenity, your tranquility, your serenity. May you always be well, happy, and healthy. May you have a long life to serve the people. May everything you do remind you of mindfulness. May all the energy you have continue to have to translate that energy into service. Service above all. Selfless acts of kindness, generosity, altruism, benevolence, and the priority of charity. May you liberate yourself. May you take suffering seriously. May you reflect on the Four Noble Truths. My empowerment and blessing for all of you. Until the time is right, we meet again. May your life be fulfilled. May all your wishes be fulfilled. May your life be excellent in the beginning, in the middle, and victorious towards the end. May you carry yourself humbly. May you practice humility. May you tame your ego. May you realize the light of your own true nature. May you keep your hearts always open. May you be healed and be a source, a great, significant source of healing for the world that is most in need. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you.
You are most welcome.
So if I wanted to join you on one of those beach journeys or like the things I see you do on Instagram, just contact you before.
Yeah, come down and then
Yeah, because I mean that's something.
come down and call, and then you just be with the flow because we're always doing stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, join the river.
Yes,
Great.
it's like a vacation.
Yeah.
It's like a mini vacation. Yeah, yeah. You already tasted a sample of what it's like to be in the monastery for 1 hour. Compare that with the school of Jidao.